Okay, good evening, everybody. Just checking audio real quick. Make sure we're up and rolling. Good evening to y'all. Happy Thursday. Happy Sketching After Hours Day. Get started here in just a second. Just waiting for this to kick in. Okay, we got audio. Yay. Okay, we got some audio. We're rocking and rolling. Cool. Let's turn on. I'll leave a couple ads up here and stuff. If you're interested in hooking up with me for a one-on-one mentorship, this is like a one-on-one Google Meet for 30 minutes. If you're needing assistance and help with your storyboards or your basics, I would be more than happy to help you. You can. I'm not sponsored by Buy Me a Coffee, but I use their system for my tip jar and also for my one-on-one mentorship. If this is something that you might be interested, check it out. Link is in the description below. And again, if you enjoyed something and learned something new today in tonight's live stream, I'd appreciate a coffee. If you'd like to tip me a coffee, I'd super appreciate that. And that's through my Buy Me a Coffee. And super appreciate that. Your support of the channel helps me continue growing this channel and putting the necessary tools and equipment into the channel to give back to you. So thank you so much. Those are a couple different ways to support me here on YouTube. Super appreciate that. Cool. How's everybody doing today? Let me get Big Paul up real quick. Where is Big Paul? Big capture. Boom. There we go. How's everybody doing tonight? So happy you joined me tonight and ready for our Sketching After Hours session. And tonight we're going to be focusing on just some simple. A lot of people have been asking me during my mentoring and just, hey, Paulie, I need some help to simplify heads and head shapes and things like that. Can you give me some direction on that, how to simplify those things? And but before we get started today, I'm going to say hello to all of our friends. If this is your first time on the chat, type your name into the comments section of the chat. Love to say hello and greet all the friends that are joining in on the live stream. I got my good buddy Buddha Belly. Hey Buddha Belly, how you doing? Hope everything is going well in your neighborhood. Keep those drawings coming. Buddha Belly shares all over work with me. I super appreciate that. Thanks so much. And Marianne GR, what's going on? Good to see you back in again. And I know it's just getting started here. I know more people will be joining us shortly too. So thank you. It's like I always say to you, friends, I'm happy to share my journey and processes with you. And there's anywhere on the YouTube or the internet you could be right now, but you've selected me, and I'm just humbled by you spending time with me and hanging out. And it's so great to see you. I got Fantasy Fan 011. What's going on? Hey, how are you doing? I don't know your background, Fantasy Fan 011. Are you a storyboard artist? Are you a comic artist? Are you an animation artist? What is it that you're working on? Just curious. But anyways, appreciate everybody joining in. I don't know if you caught the earlier live stream I did. I was sitting there on a quick break and I was sitting there drawing away, and I just had a legal pad, nothing fancy, and just sitting there scratching some thumbnails. I was thinking about a lot what we're going to be talking about today on today's live stream, but I want to sort of break it down. This isn't going to be a tutorial how to draw a bridgman or something like that. We're here just going, okay, how, I had a question. Actually, let's kick this off. I thought it was a really good question. Give me 2 seconds here and bring this question up, see if I can do this at the same time. I just thought it was a really good question. Okay. And I'm going to answer this question. This is from the earlier one of our previous live streams. I just wanted to answer it live real quick. I thought it was pretty pertinent to what we're talking about and how we're doing things. And Kate, so hi Kate, how you doing? Kate dropped me a question here. It said, great video as usual, Polly. I don't know if you have a video on this topic already. I was wondering if you could cover the topic of how you come up with ideas for storyboarding and execute them. I thought this was a great idea. I thought it was pretty good, and it's a great question from Kate. I've been doing this stuff for a really long time, and I've been telling stories for a really, really long time. And I write a lot too. Have several screenplays I have written, and enjoy the process of writing. I think my inspiration uh, was always telling stories from when I'm younger. I had two younger brothers, and we always made up stuff and skits and all sorts of crazy stuff. I did school plays and I had some fun doing some crazy stuff like that. But I remember being in school and when I was in university, and I was doing a lot of film and video production, and every quarter we had to come up with a story, and a new story and a new project that we're working on. And I was pretty much the idea guy, and wrote a lot of those stories. And for the films or whatever we were doing, whether it be a murder mystery or whatever the film we were working on, sometimes it was cartoons and animation and other things like that. And I just got into the habit of writing my own stories. And whether it be a short story. And so what I would do is I didn't go to a film school or anything like that, but what I would do is I just write the pretty much the script or the screenplay of the story every quarter. So every quarter, every 3 months, or like 2.5 months, I'd be writing a new story. So I always have an idea bank of all these different stories. So when I got my first chance professionally, the first storyboard and comic I was doing, the comic book and stories I was doing, I wrote them all myself. And just got into that process all the time. So I always keep a book of ideas, and I'm a big person on reading, and I think reading gives you your inspiration because you come up with that mental mind's eye of the story that you see. So I'm always creating stories all the time, and I have, we were always talking about sketchbooks. So when I'm doing my sketches, and I have my sketchbooks, and I always keep talking about my sketchbooks all the time. I'll write those stories, or even if it's just a synopsis, I'll write that story into the sketchbook. So as I'm coming through, or I'm coming through with characters and things like that, I'll put this stuff together, and it's just a lot of fun. And I put these things in there, so it doesn't matter what it is or what I'm working on. It's just I'm always writing, those thoughts and journaling those ideas, whether it be cool characters about a giant or whatever it might be. I just have fun, playing around with those characters, and you know and now, with all the issues going on with all the previous strikes and writer strikes and everything like that, I've been doing a lot more screenplay writing. So I'm always coming up with those ideas. And then you ask, well, Paulie, it's so easy for you. How can I come up with my own ideas? And how can I execute my own storyboards? You know, I always put it down to, come up with a little scenario. It doesn't have to be hundreds of drawings for your storyboards. Come up with some sort of smaller version, Talk about your day going to work. Talk about your day going to the grocery store. Does a funny story happen to you? Maybe on the channel we'll go more over story and story structures, and certain whether it be a 3-act structure or the Dan Harmon story circle or something like that. Maybe we'll go and investigate a little bit more and teach a little bit more of how to storyboard a little bit more, with your own stories. But I remember, you know, uh, conversations with other pros and stuff like that. And it's like, find that typical story, that's a children's story or something like that. And I know it sounds simple, but if you're having a struggling time to create your own stories, go go off of a nursery rhyme, go off of a childhood story that you told, or a family story, maybe the goings on, and make it real, in terms of your story. And that's what makes great films, is just like stories about life, story about friendship, story about things that happen to you. It's like, let me tell you what happened to me today on my way to work. And storyboard that sequence out. You know what I mean? The other day, it was really unfortunate. I was driving to the work, and this big dump truck must have crashed. I'm trying. Everybody's going off the side of the lane, and this other car, the person was okay inside the other car, but half the car was missing. You're like, how? What happened? And it's like, how can you tell those stories? I know that's a little extreme, but you know. what are those different stories you could talk about, or you're daydreaming on something like that. So have fun. Tell those small stories. You sit there and look at something like Bill Watterson's Calvin and Hobbes. I know it's a comic strip, but it's got some serious beats. It's got 3 or 4 beats in it, and it has a story structure to it for that comic strip. So if you can tell a story in 3, 4, 5 shots, there you go. You're getting going. So I hope that helps you out, Kate. I'll text you back on here on the YouTube. But I thought it goes for everybody out there, and I know that's if somebody is brave enough to ask me that question, I know there's many of you others out there that are having that same question. I know I sometimes I make it easy, but sometimes I get stuck too and go like, oh, what's going to happen? And I'm just when I'm thinking of a story, what would entertain me the most? Or if I was telling that story to somebody else, what would make it fantastic, and how can I fantastically draw that so you're amazed and you keep watching and you're sitting there going, wow, I want to see another Polly movie. That'd be cool. So and that's the way I sort of look at it. I hope that helps you out. Back over to the chat real quick. FantasyFan011 said, I'm purely a hobbyist trying to learn anything I can to ease the process. Well, I appreciate you joining in. You don't forget, FantasyFan011, that there's over 200 videos of your choosing. So you could treat it like you're out to dinner and sort of a la carte. Pick out those topics, We go over everything from going from a script, how to break down a script, to the animatic, roughs, thumbnail, storyboards, all that whole thing, composition, all different shots through the camera angles, camera movements, your filmography, a lot on drawing, and so today we're going to be sort of focused today on drawing faces and the human head a little bit, and sort of what are the quick cheats, to get that through. But welcome. Appreciate you being here on the stream with me. If there's others out there, please put your name in the stream. Super appreciate that. But let's get into some drawing and have some fun. Cool. I'm glad everybody's having a good day today. I'm not going to go super long tonight because I got a lot of things on my plate, but I wanted to hang out with you guys and keep our sketch sessions going on here. Okay, so I tend to use Photoshop a lot right now in terms of how I'm drawing. And I'm just sort of, when I'm thinking, I'm just going to add a layer in here. And we'll do a couple things here. So when I'm thinking, in terms of a head, because usually you have your I suppose people are drawing and they're going, okay, I have my head, I'm going to sort of, break down the head. I got my eyes, I got my nose, I got my mouth, you got your chin, and you sort of to build that face, and you're sort of in terms of how the head is built, and then you have your hair and all that stuff, you have your neck and all. It's sort of very artistic in the way, and it's like it's great. You can do those things in terms of drawing it and go for it and have some fun with it and stuff. And it's like there's basic lines when you're looking at the lines here, and just these basic lines in terms of what you're doing. I don't tend to draw this way. Hey, Tom, how you, Lionsdale? Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. Anybody who's new to the channel, please tell me what you're after. How can I help you? And what are you currently doing? Are you a animation student? Are you a pro? Are you a storyboard artist? What are you working on? Okay, so you sit there and you look at like artists like Bridgman and stuff like that, and that's great. But I try to break it down super simple in terms of the drawings I do. Drop this down just a tad bit. 7 point, and I think of two things. So if I'm looking at a woman's face, I tend to let me get black back in there again. I tend to think of a diamond shape. Let's try that one more time. So I tend to think of as diamond as I'm drawing. So that sort of shape. And if I'm thinking of a male character, I'm just thinking more of a square face. And that's how I sort of think of the face. in terms of what I'm doing. Tom says, commercial storyboard artist, 10 years or so. Cool, awesome. Another pro out there. Love it. So when I'm storyboarding, I'm just like, I just think of these shapes, and I just want to quickly get these drawings done. So let's just leave those shapes up and put another layer up on top. And you'll see me draw different ways. Sometimes I don't even start with these basic shapes. I just start drawing the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and just create that shot of what I'm trying to do. And so let's just say I'm going to draw the female face. If I'm just going to be storyboarding real quick, there's a few different things I might do. If I'm just drawing quick, I might just go, what's the shot? Where is that person looking? And just sort of maybe my first pass, maybe I don't have any fancy hair or anything, but I'm just sort of thinking, like this. And I'm just sort of, and I'll go and I'll do my shot. Okay, I won't spend a ton of time. Let's just say that there's that shot there. I'm not going to put it, is it a medium shot? Is it a close-up? What am I trying to do? And I sort of just get that done. So then what I'll do is, once I create that sort of the thumbnails, because I think that's the hardest thing to do, is to put we were talking about story just a couple minutes ago, and I think that's the hardest thing to do, is to put your sequence together. And if you work professionally, and I know, Tom and others that are watching this either live or on the replay, it's like, when you're working for a client, you got to turn this stuff around. So I don't have a lot of time to play around. I want to be able to tell the story. So I'm going to come up with the shortcuts. It's the same type of thing. So I'm going to do a shot like this, finish and sort of draw this way to complete my sequence, and play around with it, edit it, whatever I need to do. But then what I can do is I can come back, and on the next pass, I can add a little bit more to this particular image, and I'm not going to add a ton of it. So what I might come and do is just come in there and I'm not going to do a ton of detail. I'm just going to add enough to get a little bit of that detail in there. Maybe I'm still not going to do a ton of detail. I just want it to be simple. In terms of telling my story. So I might come back in and do something a little bit more. And then if I come back with another pass, then I can go in and add those little black highlights or whatever I'm trying to do there. It all depends on the amount of time I'm going to be spending on this particular, this project. So I'll keep it sort of simple and then maybe in the background. I'm blocking things, whatever it might be. So it keeps it pretty simple in terms of what I'm doing. If I'm going to go and do an illustration and my, have a client that wants me to do illustration or comic work, yeah, I will put a lot more detail into it in terms of what we're talking about there. So it gives you sort of a rough idea there. And the same thing goes with the male character too. So let me redraw that box again. So, like I said, when I draw a female, I'm thinking of that diamond shape, in terms of what I'm working on. So, you know, remember the diamond shape, and it's just, I sort of just draw like that. So I'm looking like this. And sometimes I'll draw those basic landmarks to know what I'm doing. I usually see that in comics too. So if you're drawing a character or whatever, and they're looking over this way, you'll see that. You'll see where they're going with that character and how you're going to work on it. And you can always come back. So then let's go look over here and let's draw the male character. And I was saying that I use a box. Okay, so if I have the box here, because men's faces are usually squares, and I sort of keep it like that. And you can still play with the same game here. Let's sort of look like this, you know, in terms of the box itself. Let's dull this down a little bit. And sometimes I'll just come in there and just you can sort of see if on the second pass. How I'll just come in there. You can sort of see the character sort of come alive here, and it was a simple box and a simple box shape. Give him a big chin or something like that. Unless he has some glasses or something like that, or even if he has a, you can just play with it and you can just go to town with all this stuff. In terms of what you're doing, you can sort of see, and you have that, you know, when I go back over it, it was simply just that box shape that we were talking about, that box that was right there. You know, we just started it like that in terms of how we're drawing it. So I just think of those simple shapes, and the simple shapes even go into, you know, anatomy and things like that for what I'm doing. So if I'm drawing a female, let's just go like this. It's a little bit thicker. I'm always thinking in those simple shapes all the time. And when I'm boarding, I'm just thinking of those simple shapes and just adding them from there. I could always come in and do detail later, you know, of what I'm trying to do. And so if you think about it, yeah, Tom just mentioned it here. Yeah, sometimes I don't include the jaw on it too. I just sort of see the form and I just go with it from there. I don't usually use bounding boxes a lot nowadays. And then Tom says, love seeing other people shorthand. And it's like that shorthand. And if you think about it, it's like, I think of it simple, and I think of like a shape like this. If I'm going to just draw the body, and I'm just drawing that person walking or whatever, you know, I'm thinking of a, how would I say this? I'm just thinking of even if I'm just drawing a body, you know, we could always add so much more detail to this character in terms of the way we're thinking. And it's just using that basic outline, and, and when I'm thumbnailing, I'm not wasting time. I don't have time to waste. And so I want to quickly, get that character. And even if I have to go over it again, or maybe it's a superhero character, let's just sort of. I'll use just those simple. Maybe it's my animation experience, in terms of how I'm doing it. I'm not using any reference. I'm just sort of in terms of how I'm drawing and how I'm going to do this. You can sort of see it all come together. And this isn't the final drawing. This is just the initial, sketch of what I'm doing, And you can sort of see the character coming to life. And sometimes I work really angular, sometimes I work with a little bit of shape, but it doesn't matter. And I think about like a Batman animated series. I remember I was at one of the early Comic Cons. Where was it? I was in WonderCon, and I remember interviewing for one of those shows. I think it was even the early. I don't know if it was the Batman animated series or a little bit after that started and stuff. But it's like I was studying a lot on drawing these characters. You look at artists like Paul Dini, or you look like not Paul Dini, but Bruce Timm, or you look at like somebody like Shane Glines, stuff like that. Just very simplified, bodies and forms and things like that. So cool. That gives you some basics. So and it's just like thinking of those simple shapes. I think in shapes of what I'm doing and how I go about doing it. If you're liking this and you're enjoying the stuff, I'd invite you to subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Like I said, I got well over 200 videos. Check it out. If you can learn something, awesome. That means the world to me, that you could walk away, learning something, or like Tom was saying, just learning how somebody else does it. You know what I mean? So that's a pretty cool process too. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna group all this stuff together, and then I'm gonna start drawing. Okay, and then I can save it all and turn it all off. Okay, so let's start drawing a little bit here. So sometimes, let me change my brush up a little bit so I get some different looking strokes here. See how this looks. Oh, I like this. That's sort of nice. Okay. So sometimes, when I'm drawing, you can just sort of follow along. I'm just looking like this too. So let's throw down just a line here. I'm gonna use this blue line. If I'm thinking like this, I'll just go like that. Whoop, like that. And sometimes that's all I do. Like whoop. I'm just thinking like that, and maybe I might go, I just sort of see the face and I just start working on it. So let's dumb this down a little bit here so you can sort of see through it. I'm going to go back to black. And we'll sort of have some fun with that. So when I'm working really quick, I'm just sort of thinking like that. Then I'll come back in there and I just have little things I'm thinking of all the time. So if you can sort of see that shape come into play. So if I'm drawing a little bit more fancy, you can sort of see that. Shape come into play a little bit. So if I had a little bit more time, then I'm thinking like this a little bit. Yeah, Tom, you're asking. Yes, when I'm drawing a board, yeah, I'll see the whole board and draw. You know, I'll keep it sort of simple. Let's see. Let me throw another layer in there. So if I'm drawing, say I'm drawing a board or something like this, and I'm going to just sort of keep it sort of simple in terms of I'm looking at the whole space. I don't necessarily, I don't usually use artboards. I'll use, if I'm in Photoshop, I tend to, I'll use layer comps, or I'll use the animation tool to sort of, so I could watch my sequence before I port it or animate, you know, do an animatic out of it. But I will see the whole shot. So if I'm looking at something like this and, you know, doing those drawings like we were just doing here, you know, I'll do that simplification like this and work that way. And maybe the hair's there or whatever. Maybe there's some sort of background. I'll be thinking like that, but I'll be drawing the whole image like that in terms of how I'm working there. And I'll do all those sequences like that. And I'll usually work in the full frame. Or sometimes if there's a shot I really want to work on it, or I'll draw it separately and just copy it in. And then maybe and then I'll just thicken up my brush because I don't want to waste the time drawing, and then I'll sit there and whatever it might be. Just have some fun drawing some crazy hair. Sometimes I'll go and I'll erase out. I want to try to get some cool textures or something in it. Depends on what type of boards I'm doing. Maybe I should have some sort of earrings or type of thing. We can do all sorts of stuff. I usually draw on a gray background too, so you can sort of see it come together. You can sort of see the image just come together like that as I'm working. And then I always love Storyboard Artist, the work of Dan Milligan. If you haven't seen Dan's work before, you know, acquaintance of mine, Dan Milligan. I think he's one of the best when it comes to lighting of storyboards. Dan's just got this eye of, you know, lighting and placing your the image of where you need to be looking at and stuff like that. So that's always sort of cool. And always does a good job. So Tornado T joining the chat. What's going on, buddy? Hi, Paul. Finally able to watch the stream live, not just a replay. Work has been crazy. Lots of laughs. Hey, I appreciate you joining in, Tornado T. Super appreciate you, buddy. I'm glad you're able to come on and live and hanging out. And I hope work's treating you well and you're doing well. So today we're just drawing some faces. We did some simple stuff, and now I'm just sort of having fun drawing for you guys. Then Tom said, beautiful drawing. Thanks so much, Tom. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'd love to see your work, Tom. You gotta shoot me a link or something. I'll leave you with my contact information. Yeah, get in touch, Tom. Love to see your work as well. Cool. Let's draw something different. Okay, so we do the same type of thing. I'm gonna add another layer in here. Yeah, go like that. And let's get a smaller brush. I'm gonna draw something a little different. Maybe we'll do top point. Okay. As I'm thinking here. Just make sure I'm working here. You can sort of see. It's funny. Sometimes I just, you know, just for giggles. I usually work from the nose a lot, just over the years. This is a little bit more complicated than how I usually work for doing my thumbnails, but I thought it'd be fun to do something different. So we're talking about drawing faces. So like a Sasquatchy, simian type of character here. So what I'll do sometimes, I'll go and I'll draw the character like this. Just sort of thinking out loud here. I've got some sort of armor. Like that. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just drop it down a little bit. And then we'll have some fun with it from here. Oops. Sometimes it's too slow. I move too fast. So you got Beauty, and now you got the Beast here. Maybe some sort of general. Oops. Maybe some sort of warrior. Waiting for my brush to catch up a little bit, friends. I can almost see it coming together here. Ooh. Ooh. It's almost like Planet of the Apes type of thing looking here. Just having some fun with that. Some sort of simian. We can do some crazy stuff here. Pretty cool. So we got Beauty and the Beast there. Go back to black. Again, if you're having a good time with the live stream, you know, appreciate you watching and hanging out. Don't forget to subscribe. Do one more little drawing here. Sometimes it'll work like that, and then I'll throw another layer on. I have it all set up. I'll go with a thicker brush, and then just go to town. Give her some funky hair there. I'm just having fun just drawing. Maybe I'll keep it simple and maybe we'll go in there. Maybe in the face I'll do a different brush this time. Keep it to a round brush there. Just having fun with different styles, different characters, realistic, cartoony. Bring back my other brush here. Just having fun with this now. Sketch, and now he's going to put in the sketch and mileage. There. So I'm big on have fun while you're drawing. Oops. See how this looks. Thanks, Tornado T. Just having fun. Let's give her, let's make her hair sort of purplish. Let's see here. Oops. I'm just having fun with this now. Cool. Thanks, Tornado T. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll come back in again. Throw some blacks back on there again. Make it pop. Sort of see it all come together. Cool. Before I spend too much time on that drawing. Cool. So we had some fun drawing tonight. You can see the different images we have here tonight that we were working on. Just having some fun and doing some cool drawings, you know. If we were talking about boarding and, you know, a little bit of how I draw my boards a little bit, but sort of focused on these different characters and character sketches, just having some fun and trying different things and see where we can go with that. And then also too, let me grab all this stuff and put all this together as a group, and then we can go back again. Group from layers, okay. Come on, computer, catch back up. Cool. So then if we're looking at this stuff here, turn this off. Remember, it all starts with a simple design. Like I said, I used a diamond type shape for the female head. For the male head, I use more of a square. You can use, I didn't draw the jaw on this one, but you can do it like that. Keeping your images pretty simple, you know, thinking of a simple character. Just keep it simple in terms of what you're doing and how you're doing it, and you can sort of see the more complicated just drawings and just having fun sketching around with you good friends tonight. So appreciate everybody hanging out with me tonight and chilling, and as we're drawing, so many great people joining the stream today. Again, the stream is absolutely free. The channel is absolutely free. Just hit that subscribe button and it'll notify you the next time I am posting here on YouTube. I post very regularly. Whenever I have a chance, I'm taking some time putting the pencil mileage into my sketchbooks, where you can catch one of my quick drawings, whether I go for 10 or 30 minutes or so. Catch those live streams for that. I live stream 3 times a week on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Saturdays is our storyboarding, jam session. Days like tonight on Thursdays, sketching after hours. And on Monday, storyboarding, mastering the basics class. Again, if you'd like to support me and the channel, because it takes a lot of work and effort to get these things going, consider supporting me with my Buy Me a Coffee site. It's very inexpensive, just the price of a coffee. And it's sort of my ongoing tip jar. If you would like some mentorship, I've had quite a few people reach out to me and say, hey, Polly, I'd really like to borrow your time and talk to you one-on-one. Please feel free. What I usually do is, if you're interested, shoot me an email and let me know if you're interested in setting it up. We could set it up on a specific date. It's a 30-minute mentorship just to answer your questions. I sort of do a precursor call just to get to know you a little bit, so I can come back with you with some great information on the mentorship. Anyways, if you're interested, the links for both of those things are in the description. Check it out whenever you have a time. If you'd like to get in touch with me, I'll leave you with my contact information here. Again, my name is Paul Angeli. I'm a storyboard artist. You can reach me at mr.paul.angeli@gmail.com. That's Mr. Paul Angeli at gmail.com. So check it out. And, if not, catch me over on Instagram. Mr. Paul Angeli is on Instagram or here on the YouTube channel. Friends, again, take care. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you on the next live stream. Don't forget to leave a comment and a like on this particular video. It tells that beautiful YouTube algorithm more people want to see Polly stuff. So very cool. You guys have a great night. Go and work on your drawings, work on your faces, use some of these little tips and tools to go do your storyboards or your animatics or your story, your animations or your comics or whatever you're going to do with it. But take it, go off and go tell your story. The world needs to hear your voice. Anyways, take care, guys. I will see you in the next one.